All right, welcome to another video today. I know it's been a minute since I did my last one, but today is St. Valentine's Day. And my buddy, Zeke Zanzibar, said to me the other night, you should do a video on Valentine's Day about Greg the Hammer Valentine. That would make the most sense, right? So I thought, all right, I guess I could do that. I have about a stack here of maybe 8 magazines, I want to say. Let's be honest. Greg Valentine probably didn't make a lot of covers back in the day. He should have probably, but he didn't in the 70s and 80s. I don't know, maybe he did in the 70s more often than the 80s. I don't have any magazines from the 70s to really tell on that one. That would be something that Bill from Pro Wrestling Mags could do maybe one day. I don't think he'd want to do a video on Greg the Hammer Valentine, but maybe, who knows, right? But so I thought, let's do this today, a quick video on Greg the Hammer Valentine. So Greg here on the cover of the February. Let me get this better. There we go. February 1984, not 1994. February 1984, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Greg the Hammer Valentine's Wrestling's Savage Genius. Nice purple robe there by the Hammer. That's clearly a photo from, years earlier. That could even be his Mid-Atlantic days. And the reason why I say that is because that's February 84. This here, Sports Review Wrestling, March 1982, is kind of the same magazine cover, right? Greg Valentine's boast, "I'm here to cripple every WWF legend." So Greg was in the WWF in 1982. He went there. Let me see if I can make this go down a bit here so you can see him better. I haven't done this in a while, so my tripod thing is a little out of whack. That's probably a little better, right? We'll say that's better. Yeah, that works. So yeah, Greg was in the WWF in 1982 for a while. He went there and, tried to win the WWF title and such. And before, I think he was there for maybe 2 years, I want to say, like 82, 83, he was there. After leaving like the Mid-Atlantic area, then he'd go up, do, they call it, go to New York, gotta do New York, and that would be the WWF. He wrestled guys like, I remember he wrestled Chief, I want to say it was Chief J Strongbow in an Indian strap match, because I remember I watched it on a WWF Most Unusual Matches Coliseum video from back in the early 80s, like 86 maybe that came out, but that match was clearly way before that. You can just tell by how Greg looked and his hair and everything. So Greg definitely went back and forth through the territories. And then we got, August 83. I got one here of Ric Flair and Greg Valentine battling each other, how the NWA title shattered wrestling's greatest friendship. That was the Wrestler, August 1983. Greg, of course, is in the Mid-Atlantic area there. Ric Flair's a babyface, good guy at the time. He ended up losing the NWA title to Harley Race, and that was the whole Flair for the Gold Starcade situation. Speaking of Flair again, we got May 81, Sports Review Wrestling. We got Flair and Greg Valentine bloodied on the cover there. Look at that. The Valentine Flair War. So that's May 81. Again, Mid-Atlantic. So 81, they were brawling. And then in 83 again. So Greg was definitely in the WWF in 82, for sure. Wrestling for the championship of the WWF. And we'll get to that in a second. Well, this is interesting here. October 83, Sports Review Wrestling. Can Greg Valentine's claim be true? Rick Martel still wrestles like a rookie. Now, Rick Martel would have been wrestling for the AWA here. That's interesting. I need to look. Maybe I'll open that one up today and give that one a look to see where they were doing battle at, because I don't think Rick was ever in the NWA. So I don't know. February 85, Greg Valentine wins Tito Santana's Intercontinental Championship. but does he deserve to be champion? That was from February 1985 of The Wrestler. Yes, Greg Valentine defeated Tito Santana in London, Ontario, Canada, just 90 minutes from me at the London Gardens in 1984. May have been October or November of 84, maybe even December, I don't know, but it was definitely in 84. And the strangest thing about this was I really thought Tito Santana versus Greg Valentine would take place at WrestleMania 1 for the Intercontinental title. Like, when you look back at that time period, how did that rematch not happen at WrestleMania? Instead, you had Tito Santana against a masked Playboy Buddy Rose in the opening match, with Tito getting the win. His only win, by the way, at WrestleMania on television. He did get a win at WrestleMania 9 over Papa Shango, but it was a dark match. But his only win was at WrestleMania 1. 2 through 8, Tito, or as Jesse would call him, Chico Santana, lost every match he was in. Interesting streak, like the reverse streak of The Undertaker. But so yeah, Greg wrestled the Junkyard Dog, which is okay. JYD is a popular guy. So why didn't JYD win the Intercontinental title then? You know, they kept it on Greg. And they ended up doing this battle with Greg and Tito all around the loop at house shows, you know, the Boston Gardens, Madison Square Gardens, Philadelphia Spectrum, you know, all these places were getting the matches of Tito Santana versus Greg Valentine for the Intercontinental title. I remember the belt finally changed hands in a steel cage match, and then Greg destroyed the original Intercontinental title, and they brought in the new one that you'd remember from the late 80s and into the 90s that all the greats held, like Mr. Perfect, Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, and such. Now, these two last ones are the most interesting ones because history books can kind of be revised in time at times. Do certain title matches exist? Was it a phantom title change? Should it be in the record books? Was it in the record books? This is what I'm getting at right here. Inside Wrestling, February 1982. WWF in Chaos. Backlund stripped of the title. Why Greg Valentine is the rightful WWF champion. As the story goes, Backlund was on top of Greg, got the win. Referee was blinded or out of it or something, didn't know who was on top. Both men wearing black trunks, both men having the sandy blonde hair, and somehow he thought it was Greg Valentine that was on top, awarded the belt to Greg, and did we have a new WWF champion? Was Greg Valentine really the WWF champion? Is this like a situation where the $1 Million Man was awarded the title in 1988? You know, in the record books, is Ted DiBiase a former WWF champion? Andre the Giant gave him the belt, said it was his, and Ted even showed up at times with the belt. Like the first, I think 2 or 3 house shows after the main event, Ted had the belt on. So was Ted DiBiase champion? I don't know. Was Greg Valentine champion? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they figure out in the record books if he's a champion or not. But Inside Wrestling, March 1982, 1 month later, Backlund, Valentine, Texas Death Match. The WWF title is back where it belongs. So Bob Backlund won the belt and apparently was said new WWF champion. So, okay. Is Bob Backlund actually a 4-time WWF champion? I mean, he had that battle with, I believe it was Antonio Inoki in Japan, where he lost the belt to him. But the WWF in North America didn't acknowledge that title change, and Bob won it back. So Bob comes back, and he's still the champion. Is this the same thing? You know, is technically Bob Backlund a 4-time WWF World Champion? I don't know, because it's all in the record books differently. I remember, I know this is kind of like a side story here, but Hulk Hogan with the AWA. He apparently was never AWA World Champion, but he did win the title twice and then got it taken away back to Nick Bockwinkel. And now if you look in the record books, they say, yes, Hogan is a 2-time AWA World Champion. Okay, was he? I don't know. You know, I think over time, wrestling revisionists, is that the word I think I want to use? I'm pretty sure it is. They change things, and I don't know. These magazines try to keep the history intact for real-time situations. This is a real-time situation. These magazines were put out, of course, a month or two, or maybe even 3 after the match happened, but the report is there. The story is there. These are not made-up stories. Greg Valentine did get his arm raised and was presented the WWF Championship over Bob Backlund. They had the rematch. Backlund beat Valentine and won. So I don't know. I don't know how they want to go about that, but that is my little Greg the Hammer Valentine magazine cover collection. I don't think he's on. I mean, I might have him on another cover here and there. I know I have him on a small, kind of like this here, the Jack Briscoe, Ted DiBiase photo. There's a photo I have of him somewhere with Brutus Beefcake with the tag titles like that, but it's so small. It's not even the main cover photo. I forget who even the main cover photo is of, but it's definitely not Greg and Beefcake with the tag titles. But that is a brief look here at Greg the Hammer Valentine on the magazine covers. There is another Greg Valentine magazine cover that I do want to get eventually if I can find it. It is a WWF program magazine from 84, maybe 85. I'm not entirely sure, but it's him on the cover with the Intercontinental Championship. And I would like to have that one just because, I'm pretty sure it's the Intercontinental. I don't think it's a tag title. I'm pretty sure it's the Intercontinental. But there is a picture of Greg on the cover with the belt. And I definitely have to get that one. I'm trying to collect all the magazine covers with wrestlers with title belts because I think they look nice. And I think they help add to the history of who was champion when. I kind of did that up top there. I have, I showed you this before, like the magazines up top. I have a row of all the champions in a row, like who was like, it goes, I think I have the first WWF champion I have with the belt on, I think is Backlund. I don't think I have anyone because of the 80s, right? So I got Backlund and I got Sheik and then I got Hogan and then I Savage and Warrior and it goes on and on. I want to do that with the Intercontinental titles too. And I'm trying to do that. And, I need that Greg Valentine. I'm pretty sure it's the Intercontinental title he has on the cover of the program magazine. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes if I get it. So everyone, that's my video today. A little video of Greg the Hammer Valentine. My favorite magazine cover of these ones, though, for story-wise, it's definitely these two with the title. That's such a cool, interesting story. But I do love these two. These are, just because they're still photo shots, they're of Greg, at his, let me move that over a bit. There we go. They're Greg with the purple. Purple looks cool on Greg. I don't ever remember seeing him wear that. He probably did, clearly, because he's wearing it there. I'm guessing he wore it with black tights or maybe blue tights, purple tights. I can't see him wearing that robe with green or yellow or red. I don't think. It had to be black, purple, or blue. I bet he wore with those. So, but yeah, that's it. That's my Greg the Hammer Valentine history for you on St. Valentine's Day. So if you're out there and today, if you're single, don't worry. St. Valentine's Day is just a made-up, stupid holiday by retail to get people to, unfortunately, go overboard and buy things for the ones they love and spend a lot of money they don't need to any other day to show how much they love someone. You know what? You can show someone you love someone any day of the week. It doesn't have to be on St. Valentine's Day. So if you're single, don't worry about it. It's just another day. If you are with someone today, like myself, me and my girlfriend, we're not even celebrating. We never celebrate Valentine's Day. We'll probably just hang out tonight. We're watching the old television show Party of Five because she told me she watched it years ago and I've never seen it. Ironically, I love teen drama shows. I never saw that one. So we're going through it and it's not bad. I like it. It's okay. But so that's what we're going to do tonight. There's no celebration, no fancy dinner. We got leftover Chinese food. It is what it is, man. I think that more people need to normalize not celebrating Valentine's Day and just having it be a day. Don't let it get into your head. So many people on my Facebook friends list today, especially single girls, are like upset and crying and pretty much saying, oh my God, I'm single. No one loves me, blah, blah, blah. Well, did you feel that yesterday? Are you going to feel that tomorrow? Probably not, because today it's being shoved in your face. So wouldn't you rather have Greg the Hammer Valentine shoved in your face? I I probably should have reworded that better. All right, guys, until I do my next one, I'll talk to you later.